Okay. So Kant was the philosopher thinker who was a German innate, right? So all the philosophy that we are inheriting right now is basically he's the founder of that philosophy. Hmm? Can I say it a materialistic philosophy? I don't know. You will have to decide. But he has very strange principles. Okay. I found this picture for you. Okay. So Immanuel Kant was born in East Prussia. I don't know what is that, but it's something somewhere in Germany, right? Kant is famous for revolutionizing how we think about just about every aspect of the world, including science, right? Arts, ethics, and so on and so forth. Kant is a rationalist writing during the Enlightenment period of from here to there. Okay. He thinks that we can gain knowledge from our senses. Is he right? You have to say me yes or no. Okay. And through our rational capacities. Hmm. So actually, he is denying from the religion right now. Is he? Or he thinks that religion might be the rationale, one of the rationales. Let's find out. This is this is key to understand his work above, but also makes his writing on ethics seems a bit odd. We think the study of ethics, unlike say math, ought to direct our eye to what is going on around us in the world. Yet Kant starts by turning his eyes inward to think about ethical ideas. Kant believes that in doing this, people will come recognized with certain actions are right or wrong, irrespective of how we feel, irrespective of any consequences. Every action has its equal and opposite reaction, consequence, but he does not believe it. He says, no, you will not follow the consequences. You will see, is it right or wrong? You can slap a child, right? The consequences that he's going to cry. But you have to think you did it right or wrong. Nah, he says, no, you will have to see it. You have to make it differ from that. Okay. You have to make it isolated from that. For Kant, actions are right if they respect what he calls a categorical imperative. For example, because lying fails to respect the categorical imperative, it is, I have written somewhere here the definition of category. Something absolute. Okay. Categorical imperative is something absolute, right? For example, because lying fails to respect the categorical imperative, it is wrong and is wrong irrespective of how we might feel about lying or what might happen if we did lie. It is actions that are right and wrong. Does this make sense to you? I'll get into it. I have written it. So let's here in this article, there are many examples that will differentiate about the ideas that he has given, right? So if we do it action, then this means that Kant theory is deontological rather than teleological. अभी हमने पढ़ा था ना? Should I go back to that file and tell you again? Or you will read it yourself? पढ़ लेंगे या मैं पढ़ा दूं? चले मैं कोशिश करता हूँ हेल्प यू ताकि असल में बहुत सारी क्लासेस आप लोगों ने नहीं ली ना and some classes you were like sleeping when I was giving the lecture online. चलो बाद में देख लेते हैं. There is, however, something intuitive about the idea that morality is based on reasoning. Is morality based on reasoning? Reasoning? Sometimes no. Sometimes morality is something that the culture is offering you. Hmm? I can wear a cap on my head. In my culture, it is good to wear a cap. So it has nothing to do with right and wrong, right? How the people are perceiving. Okay. So what does Kant has to say about it? Kant believes that in doing so, these people will recognize that certain actions are right and wrong, irrespective of how we might feel and irrespective of any consequences. For Kant, actions are right if they respect what he calls, अच्छा ये तो हमने पढ़ लिया. आगे हम किधर हैं? ये है. There is, however, something intuitive about the idea that morality is based on reasons rather than feelings and consequences. Consider my pet name Spartan. My pet cat and its name is Spartan. Okay. Now again another example. He performs certain actions like scrubbing under bed covers like this. Okay. Mewing, pleasing us, right? In the house. We love a cat, in our house. Birds chirping. Okay. Now consider my daughter Beth. She performs certain actions like caring for her sister and helping the homeless. Are they both equal? Now here is the answer. Spartan actions are not moral. Even if the cat is pleasing you, it has nothing to do with the morality, right? Whereas bad actions are. Okay. So for showing a moral ethic or showing a moral perspective, you must be at least human. बड़े मजे का लेके चलता है वैसे ये बंदा जो है ना, मुझे बड़ा मजा आया इसको जो है ना वो करके पढ़ के. अच्छा अच्छा वो कहता है so there is no reasoning on his part. Beth in contrast can reflect on the various reasons she has. Why is the cat scrubbing that curtain or that bed? There is no reason what she's doing, right? But Beth in contrast, she has the reason to do it, okay? To care for the sister and for the homeless. So whatever the mother and father has given Beth the love, she is pondering into her siblings, right? मेरे वालिद साहब कहा करते थे कि जो ये जो लव होता है ना, it is a downstream. It is a stream that is going towards downwards. It can, the love that we have given you cannot give us back. You will transmit it to your children and they will transmit it to their children. That is so beautiful, right? We might think then that humans are moral beings, not because we have certain desires, but precisely because we are rational as well. We see things rationally. So ethics जो है ना, कांट के लिए जो है ना, अगर रैशनल नहीं है ना समथिंग, दैट इज नॉट एथिक्स. तो यहाँ पर तो हो गया गोल तुम्हारा रिलीजन, उसका पत्ता तो हो गया साफ, क्योंकि रिलीजन में क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकते. इफ यू क्वेश्चन, find your way somewhere else, because people are not going to answer the question, because whatever they get, that is from the rituals they are getting, right? So right or wrong. One of my cousin's wife is from Russia. And they are very tricky, these people, when they come to accept the other cultures, they have very strange questions. So they ask me, sir, their children are grown up like you now. So the children ask me, ये हम ईद के दिन जो है वो गोश्त क्यों तकसीम करते हैं? ठीक है, हम उससे किसी का घर भी तो बना सकते हैं। अगर तो मैं उसको आंसर देता अकॉर्डिंग टू दी रिलीजन, तो फिर तो मैं फेल हो जाता। अच्छा, आई मेड अप माई आंसर अकॉर्डिंग टू द रैशनल, एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्ट रैशनल वाज, मैंने कहा बेटा वो प्रोटीन की ना पूरे साल में कमी हो जाती है लोगों में ना, अगर हम उनको प्रोटीन नहीं देंगे तो वो कोलैप्स कर जाएंगे। हाँ, सो माय कजन वाज सिटिंग देयर एंड ही वाज स्टेयरिंग एट मी, जिनकी वो वाइफ थी ना, उसने कहा तू पीएचडी है ना, तभी तू इधर उधर से आंसर्स ले आता है, राइट? So that was a tricky answer by me. Sometimes we are answerless when we are following religions, right? But there is a big outer canvas that say everything is good, what we are following, because you cannot run a society with different perspectives. You will clash. It is innate. You will clash. If the perspectives are different and there is no respect, and you know there is always respect is always missing. People don't respect, right? They are something is very special for you, and your culture is very special for you. You know, even if I go to United States, you know, यहाँ की जो है ना, मुझे वो सेवर के चावल बड़े अच्छे लगेंगे, वो मुझे कभी कभी याद आएंगे। आपको क्या याद आता है? आपको क्या याद आता है चाइना का, कोरिया का, सॉरी? वो क्या चीज है? सब्जी की तरह है। और आपको? लॉर्ड ऑफ, नहीं कोई एक चीज बताएं दैट यू आर मिसिंग इन योर सोसाइटी। हाँ, केक्स। सो यू गेट डोंट गेट हियर। ओके, चलें, बेक समथिंग फॉर अस, वी विल ट्राई इट इन द क्लास। अच्छा, इसी तरह आप सब लोगों के यू माइट बी मिसिंग समथिंग फ्रॉम योर कल्चर, राइट? सो व्हाट डू यू मिस, सर, इन योर कल्चर? One, point out one thing. What is that? Restaurant. Okay. They might have recipes, different recipes in their menus, right? So, some key idea about the duty. Now he is relating the morality with the reasons, and now there should be a duty as well. Without a duty, there is no moral. You must fulfill a duty, right? Kant's main work on ethics is metaphysics of morals. Okay, and groundwork of metaphysics. You know, metaphysics is a is a physics that is on another horizons. Yeah, it's on abstracts, right? It is something that is supernatural. Neither give practical advice about particular situation, but rather, okay. He starts from the notion of duty. And although this is rather old-fashioned term, the idea behind it should sound similar. Imagine your friend has told you that she is pregnant, but asked you to promise to keep her secret. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting secret, right? You want to tell your friend, isn't it? Uh, you know, it's a good gossip. फिर उसको भी हम क्या कहते हैं? अच्छा, तूने किसी को नहीं बताना. We bound him as well. You will not tell others. And then the XYZ goes to another ABC and he tells him and said, don't tell to others. It's a secret. So, is it a duty? What do you say? I think so. Can't say no. It's not a duty. Let's see. Acha, through the coming weeks, this juicy bit of gossip is on the tip of your tongue, but you do not tell anyone because of your promise. There are things we recognize as being required of us, irrespective of what we really desire to do. This is what Kant means by duty. अच्छा मेरा ख्याल है वो इसको duty समझता है. But this raises the question, if it is not desires that move us to do what is right, evenly really strong desires, what does, in our example, why is it that we keep our promise despite the strong desire of gossips? Can't answer is the goodwill. You will lose the goodwill. Okay. So then if you leak my secret that I give you extra 30 minutes after attending the class, I'll give you extra 30 minutes free to the faculty. That will be a problem for me, right? And you will lose the goodwill. I'll not tell you anything else after that time. So everything is based on us is again the goodwill. Okay. So not even performing duty is enough. You must perform duty that you do not lose your goodwill. Okay. Kant gives the following characterization of goodwill. It is something that is good irrespective of effects. Any effect may be, but you must not lose your goodwill, right? A goodwill is good not because of what it affects or accomplishes, because of its fitness or attaining some purposed end. Okay. It is good through its willing alone. It is good in itself. Acha, what does Kant means? Well, pick anything you like, which you think might make an action good. For example, happiness, pleasure, courage. If there are many situations you can think of where an action having those features make those actions worse. You are happy to kill someone. I love it. Kill someone. I like it. I like to abuse someone. It gives me happiness. I like to fail you all. Why would I do that? Is it justifiable? It's not justifiable. So it seems that there are imaginary. Where are we? Here? On this point? ये तो हमने पढ़ लिया ना. ये ऊपर वाला पढ़ा. अच्छा. It seems that there are imagine someone who is happy when kicking a cat, or someone taking pleasure in torture, or a serial killer who courage, teacher is always one step ahead, right? मैं अक्सर ये कहता हूँ टीचर्स को थोड़ा सा ज्यादा आता है, ज्यादा नहीं, थोड़ा सा अपनी क्लास से ऑडियंस बस, that's make him gives him an edge. Other else I think so, as per knowledge is concerned, knowledge is again dependent on the experience, right? So बहुत सी चीजों में आपका एक्सपीरियंस मेरे से ज्यादा होगा, so that makes us equal. As a class we are equal to each other. There might be something that I am missing in my life that you are expert for. Okay. अच्छा जी. To abduct a children, in such cases the happiness, pleasure, courage makes action more worse. तो उसने पहले बोला था ना कि action should not make things worse. Okay, so this is what exactly goodwill is. You must not make things worse. So now here comes the duty with the goodwill. You perform the duty in a way that is not displeasing, that is not problematic for others, right? Even if you like something. The goodwill, unlike anything else, is good unconditional, and what makes a goodwill good is willing alone, not other attitude. Oh, आगे चलें. Anything for अच्छा, अब आपको समझ में आ रही है कि मैं कैसे पढ़ा रहा हूँ? मैं आपके आइडियाज बिल्ड कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? So this idea must replicate in your paper or whatever you write or whatever you think. Okay, I'm not making you bookish. Understand? So acting for the sake of duty and acting in accordance with the duty. What is the difference between the both? यहाँ से आगे मैंने भी नहीं पढ़ा हुआ, ठीक है? So you must guide me, okay? From what we have said above about the nature of duty and good, we can say why can't says that to act from goodwill is acting for the sake of duty. So you must complete the duty. कहते हैं ना कि for the purpose of something, you do something, right? You do not do something to do something, but there is some purpose, right? We act despite our desires to do otherwise. For Kant, I just left my family in F10. I had a desire that I may stay with them because there is a wedding coming, and I always love to go with my beloved wife to the places, but I didn't do it. I came to you again for the sake of duty. Okay. अच्छा जी, हम कहाँ पर हैं? For Kant, this means that acting for the sake of duty is only the way out. We can say that an action can have more moral worth. मजे की बातें कर रहे हैं लेकिन है सारी स्क्रैच की, ठीक है? हम अगर ये ना भी पढ़ें तो हमारे अंदर ये सारी चीजें इनबिल्ट है. यही फिलोसोफर करते हैं और क्या करते हैं? He start making sense जो हम सब कुछ कर रहे होते हैं. ये ना भी पढ़े तो आप ये सब कुछ कर रहे हैं. कहीं पे वो मारेगा, यू टर्न मारेगा कहीं पे, जैसे इमरान खान मारता है, ये भी मारेगा. अभी अभी जो लेटेस्ट उसने यू टर्न मारे कल कि जी हमारा कोई ग्रज नहीं है यूएसए के साथ. तो पहले आप लड़ जो रहे थे इतना ना, अब आपने यू टर्न ले लिया कि हमारा यूएसए के साथ कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ठीक है, तो हर एक की अपनी लिमिटेशंस होती हैं, राइट? नोबडी इज एब्सोल्यूट, नोबडी इज परफेक्ट. इवन मेरे साथ भी अगर आपका रिलेशन होगा तो दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग, राइट? Even if you have a relation with me, I'm not absolute. You are compromising with me, and I have to compromise with you as well. Okay, so for the sake of duty, your duty is to get that degree. Take your numbers out of me. Is he gonna give us A or what? And for the sake of duty, yes, I think so. We are mean to do this too. We are mean. We are not happy, but we have to do it. And for me, you guys are, if you give me a bad comment in my CV, you're not gonna give me the class again. Okay, I'll give you A or B, but not less than that. But I will not show it to you because I'm gonna lose my goodwill. Everything is so interconnected, right? So ये वो स्क्रैच पे बात करके भी चीजों को कितना इंटरेस्टिंग बनाते हैं ये लोग. Philosophers are taken in the society like they are boring personalities, but that is not so. They are very interesting personalities to read, to understand how they think. But scarce people do it. Acha ji. So what is moral worth? There is another word, that is moral worth for the sake of duty. Okay. Imagine that you are walking with a friend, you pass someone begging on the street, your friend starts weeping. He's so in pain, I'm so hurt, fumbles in his wallet and gives the beggar some money. And now he's happy. He did it for the sake of duty? I think so. He didn't do it. So it is worthless for Kant. For me, still it is worthless. He is doing it for the sake of duty. For me. But for Kant, no, 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 no. He's gone out of the way. You know, in the culture, in USA or UK culture, people do not give tip to the waiter. That is something bad. Actually, why? Because the owner is not paying him well. That's why you are giving him the tip. So they do not propagate this sort of behavior. यूके वाले हैं या यूएसए वाले हैं, दोनों में से एक है. Is everybody with me? Okay. Okay. So he feels such an empathy. Empathy का मतलब मैंने देखा था वो sympathy ही बन रहा है. ठीक है? With poor man that he just had to help him. For Kant, your friend actions is no moral worth. Has no moral worth. तुम कुछ कर रहे हो तो तुम्हें भी तो कुछ मिलना चाहिए ना. What is your moral worth? If you, for example, after getting this degree, entangle yourself with a company, and if you would do something over there, you will be rewarded. I think so. What moral worth here is that? जो कांट समझता है कि there must be a moral worth for action. Other else it is just a gesture, a moral value, but it doesn't have any worth. But for me, it is a moral worth because as per your behavior is concerned, as you know, that is a sort of a satisfaction when you help someone. For you, this is a moral wealth. But I don't know. These questions are always very puzzling, right? अच्छा जी, आगे हम कहाँ पर हैं? 19 पे. For Kant, your friend action has. अच्छा ये पढ़ लिया. Kant, अच्छा आगे चलते हैं. To make this point clearer, Kant asks us to consider someone who has no sympathy for suffering of others and no inclination to help them, but desires this. He nevertheless tears himself from his deadly insensibility and performs this action without any inclination at all, but solely from duty. Then for the first time, his action has genuine moral worth. बताओ समझाओ, मुझे तो नहीं समझ आया. समझाओ. Action was genuine moral worth. Okay. Without any emotion. You do it without any emotion. You help him without any emotion, then there would be a moral worth in your action. But if your emotions are involved, then there is no moral wealth, right? A doctor cannot operate his own son or daughter. उसका हाथ ऐसे ऐसे कांपेगा ना, अपने बच्चे को कैसे काटे? उसके अपने इमोशंस आ गए ना. कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गई कि नहीं सिचुएशन. बट पर्सन लाइक मी टू a doctor like me, he loves. मुझे अच्छी तरह याद है. I went to a doctor and I said that sorry to bother you, and he said no, 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 no. When I see blood, I become happy. When I cut someone, it gives me a pleasure. ठीक है? Because he's fulfilling the duty, right? लेकिन अगर अपने बच्चे का ही करना पड़ जाए ऑपरेशन, तो मसला बनेगा कि नहीं? क्या कहते हैं आप? अच्छा जी. कैटेगोरिकली एंड हाइपोथेटिकली इंपेरेटिव छोड़ दूं, मुश्किल है या पढ़ाऊं? किधर मैं ही ना फंस जाऊं. हाँ. बस कांट तो यही कहता है. कांट कहते हैं कर लोगे, बट इट इज नॉट अ मॉरल वर्थ. तुम्हारे इमोशंस तुम्हें कमजोर करते हैं. Without any reasoning. Culture हमें reason बाजुकात नहीं देता. You do things without any reason. He said that you have to do everything with reasoning. If you don't reason, then it's not. I know that is somewhat mean. I cannot even swallow it myself. But here, this is Kant, the philosopher, right? The philosopher who thinks that everything must have reason. It shouldn't involve any emotion. The Kant. It's not me. You know, for me, Kant is really very handy to adopt. I cannot do without things without any emotions. I cannot help my family without any emotions, right? So even if I'm helping my family, I'm not doing it for the sake of duty, according to Kant. Okay. Things about it's to have only two. It's not like okay, I will do this for the sake of doing this, not for the sake of duty. So if somebody is begging and if I don't do it, it will not hurt you. Says that this is good. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So he says that this is moral worth. That is again entangled with this with the idea of for the sake of duty and with the idea of goodwill. I know it's very confusing, honestly speaking, right? But you know, you have to अपने अंदर थोड़ा सा कांट को जगह दो भाई. हाँ, कांट को थोड़ा सा जो है ना जगह देना पड़ेगा. If we agree with Kant and when to act for the sake of duty, what should we do? Okay. His answer is that we have to act out of respect for the moral law. He has two examples for how this works in practice: lying and suicide. Suicide का भी क्वेश्चन किसी ने पूछा था ना क्लास में. अच्छा. We will consider Kant's example of suicide at the end of the. However, before doing this, we need to get a sense of what Kant has in mind when he talks about action out of respect for the moral law. ये एक नई स्टेटमेंट है, ओके, जो कांट कह रहा है. इसको एक्टिंग आउट ऑफ, इसको वो कर लो, बोल्ड कर लो. अब वो क्या कह रहा है? आउट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट. ओके. इंपेरेटिव ये मैंने यहां पे लिखा हुआ है. What is a categorical imperative? An unconditional moral obligation. It is an unconditional moral obligation which is binding in all circumstances and is not dependent on a person's inclination or purpose. तो मेरा ख्याल है कांट की थ्योरी ये नहीं है कैटेगरी, वो हाइपोथेटिकल है. हाइपोथेटिकल इसके उल्टा हो जाएगा ना. ठीक है. अगर वो अनकंडीशनल है तो हाइपोथेटिकल क्या हो जाएगा? कंडीशनल हो जाएगा, राइट? आपको नींद क्यों आ रही? अच्छा. An act according to the maxim. Do you know what maxim is? Do you know what maxim? Maxim is a journal law. ठीक है. like हाँ, legal statement है. It's a journal law. Like in Islamic theology, al aslu fil ashya'i al ibaha. For everything that we do, the journal principle is like, I'm a teacher, what can I do? You know, sometimes I go to my house and I speak in this tone and my wife says, what happened to you? Why are you shouting? It's like I'm always, you know, giving the lectures, you know, lectures should be energetic, should be full of energy. So my voice becomes, you know, मैंने काफी ज्यादा इसकी वजह से नुकसान भी उठाया due to my voice. So please forgive me for that, okay? So al-aslu fil ashya'i al-ibaha. So for every action, the general principle is allowed. It is allowed. This is the general principle. Then there is a maxim that says al aslu fil ashya'i at tahrim. For every action, there is the law that says it is abandoned. बड़ी मजे की उनकी भी थ्योरी बड़ी मजे की है, मैक्सिम्स बड़ी मजे की चीज है. ओके, सो जनरल लॉ क्या है? According to the maxim, same time that at the same time will that it become a universal law. ये maxim के बारे में बता रहे हैं. So act that you see humanity in your own person as well as in the person of any other, always at the same time as an end, never merely as a means. समझ आई है किसी को? Maxims are very tricky. Okay. So what does Kant has to say about the suicide? हम छोड़ते हैं सब कुछ. Make a last comment in the class. बाकी फिर हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे. Kant on suicide. कुछ थोड़ी बहुत समझ आई है उसकी थ्योरी की नहीं आई? बाकी बहुत फिलोसॉफिकल हो रहा है इसलिए मैंने छोड़ दिया. ओके, आई नो योर कैपेसिटी. मुझे तो मजा आएगा लिटरली. आई लव इट. आई लव दीज सॉर्ट्स ऑफ डिस्कशंस, राइट, व्हिच मेक नो सेंस. आई लव देम. ओके, Kant is notoriously stingy with examples. One he does mention is suicide. अच्छा, this is an emotive यानी emotional होगा, emotive topic, something that has to do with the emotions. Okay, interesting कह लें आप. Topic in link to question about mental health and religion. An attraction of Kant view is the ability to apply the categorical imperatives in a dispassionate way. His framework should allow us to plunge in the issue and get out an answer. Let's see how this might work. Kant thinks that suicide is always wrong. Suicide is always wrong and has very harsh words for someone who attempts suicide, because he says that suicide is not, it is the disrespect of humans. Okay. कौन कहते हैं suicide is a good thing? We must commit the suicide to end our pains. What do you say? Who is up for that? Okay. He who so behaves, who has not respect for human nature and may things of himself, becomes for everyone an object of free will. We are free to treat them as a beast. जो कहता है कि बस free will है. In life is based on the concept of free will. Whatever we want to do, we can do. So he said that they are not even human, they are thinking like beasts. Ulaika kal an'am. They are just like beasts. Balhum adal. Then the beast came to the God and said that why are you always making us responsible, holding us responsible for the wrong philosophies of humans? And then God says, Balhum adal, they are even worse than them. So, but why does he think this? He does this fit with Kant's categorical imperativeness. We will look at the first two formulations. Fundamental to remember is that for Kant, the motive that drive all suicide is to avoid evil. So, why do we commit suicide? To avoid all evils, right? By which he means avoid suffering. Yes? So people, I gave you an example that even for doing wrong, you need some reasoning, right? If you want to go to rob a bank, why would you do that? Because there is an inner feeling into you that society did not give us our share. So you have the reason to even rob a bank. But is it right? Is your reasoning right? It is based on free will that he's talking. That is not allowed. Okay? जब बोर हो जो बता देना, ठीक है? All suicide attempts are due to the fact that we love ourselves. We love ourselves and thus want to avoid evils. Imagine then that I बस ये खत्म करते हैं, एक दो पैराग्राफ पढ़ के खत्म, इसको कहीं पे तो लॉजिकल उस पे ले जाने के लिए ना खत्म करते हैं. ओके. Imagine then that I decide to commit suicide given what we have just said about my motives. This means I will be acting on the maxim. छोड़ दो इसको. The question then is whether it is possible to universalize this maxim. छोड़ दो इसको. So, notice a few odd things. चलो इसको बाद में पढ़ेंगे. मैं पढ़ के आऊंगा तो तुम्हें पढ़ाऊंगा. ठीक हो गया? Did you enjoy the class? As if I have earned something. What would Kant say?